John has done so far in the way that he's really gone about this plane tracking stuff, getting every detail, every bit of information he can. He's done a fantastic job. You got to give credit where credit is due. He was working on Sunday, he was grinding, and he has gotten a lot of good intel. It's not necessarily like right intel, but it's been interesting to watch nevertheless, Phil.
Well, and we're trying to be as cautious as we possibly can with talking about candidates and preferred candidates, I guess is the right way to put it, or even the thought of the first interview, if it even was the first interview, the confirmation of of Hunter Yurachek being in Boca Raton on, what was that, on Sunday. That means Lane Kiffin was interviewed. That doesn't necessarily mean Lane Kiffin is the front runner or the top candidate. It just means he was interviewed. But I think if you pay attention to the hiring process that Hunter Yurachek went through with Eric Musselman, that this is going to take a few days. I think you'll have your coach by either the end of this week, depending on who the coach is, or if that coach still has another game to worry about, that being a conference championship. And, I mean, really, you got like 4 or 5 not available, but 4 or 5 coaches that make sense as candidates that are coaching in various conference championship games this Saturday. So I think you either get your coach Friday or you get your coach Sunday or Monday. But it's not going to be it's not going to be today, and it's not going to be yesterday, in which it's so crazy, Ty. I mean, if you looked at Twitter yesterday and just wanted to believe what you read, the ink was drying on the contract. Lane Kiffin was coming in to talk to the players, and there was going to be a press conference today. But you can never believe what you see on social media. It even seems some of the former Razorback players got in on the fun. I think they're in the same mindset of Hunter Yurachek. They're kind of having fun with fans right now.
Yeah, trolling a little bit, which is it's funny, and it's fun to see fan reactions. I have Devin text in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He's thinking that this coaching search could be similar to the 2017 fiasco that Tennessee suffered. I just don't see that happening. Again, I've been wrong before. Maybe Hunter Yurachek misses on one of his top 2, top 3 candidates, but I think that based on what you saw with the basketball program, and I know the basketball program is a lot different from the football program when in terms of job want and jobs like that are attractive to coaching candidates across the board. But I think based on that, you should be hopeful at least. And I thought it was interesting. I texted Tom Murphy yesterday, who was the one that asked the question, posed the question to Eric Musselman in yesterday's press conference, Phil. He talked about, so what was that hiring process like? And I think we can look to, there's really only 2. You can't really look to Jordan Weber as a gymnastics head coach because that's just not a high-profile job in terms of the attention it's going to get.
Yeah, almost by definition, looking for a college gymnastics coach is stealth, no matter what.
Correct.
You just don't have many people that are paying close attention to other candidates.
So, I mean, there's really only 2 examples you can point to. The hiring of Eric Musselman at Arkansas and the hiring of Major Applewhite at Houston. And from what I've read, and again, I'm not close to the ground, I don't have my ear to the ground in Houston or anything, it seemed like Tillman Fertitta, who's the big dog down there in Houston, wanted Applewhite, and Yurachek wanted Kiffin. They ultimately went with Applewhite because he's the big-time booster down there. Again, that's not been confirmed. You can't 100% know that or anything. That's just from the stuff I've read. That's what it seems like happened. But it was interesting when Tom asked Eric Musselman the question yesterday, and he went into it. I think this is a really good piece of audio from Eric Musselman, what the timeline was like when Hunter Yurachek was going through the hiring process.
I loved interviewing with him. It was interesting because when I got the phone call, we had talked about where to meet and everything, and obviously you want to keep it, private and so forth. And I don't know if it was Hunter or John, but I kind of threw out, well, if you're going to come to Reno, you want to just meet in my house. And I don't think that they had ever done that, and I certainly hadn't done it. And I've had a lot of interviews. They ask a lot of really good questions, philosophically, a lot of stuff about, student athletes. About recruiting was a big part of it as well, and understanding Arkansas's culture and understanding what Hunter's vision is for the entire athletic program. Understanding the passion of the Arkansas fan base, and my process with him was incredible. Why the more we talked, the more we got excited as a family. I thought he was really, really upfront about everything. I knew he was interviewing other people and talking to other people, but his communication skills were off the charts. So that's my experience.
Phil, what similarities and what differences do you think there's going to be distinguishing the Arkansas football coaching search and the basketball one?
I mean, that's a good question. One of them would be the fact that you're rebuilding a team completely from the ground up. Mm-hmm. You know, the other being that Hunter Yurachek, and this was something I went back and listened to his press conference after he'd hired Eric Musselman, and he described his process. You know, Hunter played basketball in college. I think he's more of a basketball guy than a football guy. Now, if you're going to be a major Division I athletic director, you're going to have to turn yourself into a football guy. So, but yeah, I think most of his experience, at least in being on the field of battle, so to speak, would be in basketball. So I think that probably is a little bit more of the difference. The other thing too is, and this is something we argued about yesterday, and a lot of our other halftimers argued about, it's the pecking order, where Arkansas stands in the pecking order in the SEC, and therefore the expectations that go along with that. I mean, Yurachek said at Arkansas, he saw that as one of the top 3 jobs, potentially one of the top 2 jobs in the SEC. There's a lot of truth to that. I don't think that's just an athletic director pumping up his brand.
That can actually be backed up by people outside of the state.
Right, and football, I mean, we were arguing yesterday about if Arkansas's a better job than Mizzou or Ole Miss. That doesn't put you in the top 3. It doesn't even put you in the top half or the top 2/3. So the expectations that go along with it. You're expected to compete for an SEC championship, I think, at Arkansas, in basketball.
Yeah.
In football, you're expected now to look like the team is competitive. At the very least, competitive, go from there.
And, Phil, I just want to remind our listeners real quick. I don't believe, and I listened to the show again yesterday, I don't believe at any point during the program that I said that Arkansas was a lesser job than Missouri and Ole Miss. I just didn't like the fact that Arkansas fans were just saying, it's a better job, period. And they glossed over glaring disparities when it comes to the Arkansas football that you simply can't do. That was the argument I had yesterday, and I think that's why we got a little heated with I got a little heated with some of our halftimers.
That's all right, Ty. You make it up to them with your choice of sweater today, which we can get into when we come back from the break. Clearance sale continues at Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. You can pick your deal. Either get your sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. And every new RV at Breeden comes with exclusive free maintenance for life. Go to Breeden RV, Alma Highway, Van Buren, BreedenRVs.com.
Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
I get sick and tired of hearing all these national media members think that Arkansas was wrong for firing Chad Morris. Do they watch this season at all? Do they watch any games this year? Arkansas lost to San Jose State at home. They lost to Western Kentucky, got blown out by them at home. I don't know what team they've been watching this season, but to me it is completely and totally justifiable for firing Chad Morris.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Your family of 4 could be on the way to Branson for the holidays. The Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau, HitThatLine.com, and ESPN Arkansas are giving away a holiday package, which includes 3-night stay at the Hilton of Branson, tickets to a Christmas show, North Pole Adventures at Shepherd of the Hills, Christmas music Ferris wheel ride at the Track Family Fun Parks, and food certificates. Register once daily through December 10th on HitThatLine.com, and you could be a winner. Must be 21 or over to register. Happy holidays from the Branson CVB, HitThatLine.com, and ESPN Arkansas.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888. And online, kohlergreen.com.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your number one Arkansas fan.
Hey, this is Kirk Herbstreit. This team's going to need to change the momentum in the second half. Let's listen in to the head coach to hear his halftime speech.
Listen to me. It all comes down to now. I want to see some fire. A fire that could perfectly grill an Eckrich smoked sausage. And I want to see more from you out there. More flavor, more condiments. This is a home gate after all. Now start eating like you belong here.
Yeah! Okay, now I'm fired up. Eckrich, you do you.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Mason leads the break, feeds Harris, back to Jones in the corner. Joe trails the play. Isaiah for three from the left wing. Joe with a tray, 47-33.
There's one guy that you want to get going here, Isaiah Joe. Joe shooting 33% from behind the three-point line this year, just 35% from the floor. And he comes into this ball game tonight against Austin Peay with a total of 28 points in his last 3 games. And this is amazing when you know how good of a shooter Isaiah Joe is. He's shooting 22% in the last 3 games. That doesn't make any sense. And they've been some open looks. Sooner or later, these shots are going to fall. And we'll get to that because Eric Musselman talked about that at his press conference yesterday. But we'll get to that later on in the hour. By the way, 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. We'll take your calls and texts up until 2 o'clock. Couple of guests today, our usual Tuesday first-hour guest, Nikki Chavanel, in about 15 minutes. And Kevin McPherson, Mr. Hoop Scoop, coming on in hour number 2 because, hey, let's face it, it's basketball season now that Arkansas football is done. So we got to make a habit out of talking with Kevin McPherson. Just the same way that Ty Richardson is now making a habit of wearing an ugly Christmas sweater every single day for the remainder of this month. I think he's going to take it up until New Year's. And so if you were looking for our video stream yesterday, it wasn't around. It was kaput. It was dead, at least for a day or two. It's back. So you can go on our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter, and look at this. This isn't even on the list of the top 10 ugly sweaters that you've worn, Ty, although Turtle Racer, who texts in earlier, says he calls it your plane tracking sweater. This is actually a sweater you're supposed to wear when you're being creepy and tracking athletic directors' whereabouts?
I guess. I think it's pretty bright, so I feel like I would get spotted relatively easily. Even from like the hanger or just out on the runway from a plane. That would Hunter Yurachek and his staff would probably have to turn it around because they'd see me standing out like a sore thumb out there.
I think Lane Kiffin can see your sweater all the way from Boca Raton. That thing is as bright as the sun, my man. All right, so it's funny when the clips that we're playing today because we're going from Eric Musselman. I love the Eric Musselman press conferences because
they're very insightful. You learn a lot.
That's exactly right. He's in depth. He doesn't just skim the surface with typical coach speak. He's giving you a real window into his mind, and it's fascinating because this is a basketball rat through and through, and I mean that in the best possible way. But when you're asked about the hiring process right now during a football coaching search, he gives you a pretty good window into what that experience was like. Hunter Yurachek was very thorough with him. I think he's extremely thorough with this coaching search overall, and it's not just going to be one or two or three that are interviewed, and he's in the process of doing that right now. But because, he's not the official minister of culture in a Matthew McConaughey of Texas sense, but let's just be honest here, Ty. Who is the minister of culture for Arkansas Razorback Athletics? It's John Daly, of course. Of course. The guy who, did I see on Super 70 Sports Twitter last week? I did. A shot of Daly being interviewed shirtless. You can't tell if he's wearing pants or not, but he's got a Razorback hat on. That, to me, is Arkansas Razorback Minister of Culture stuff.
Through and through.
He called in to Paul Feinbaum. I don't think it was Feinbaum calling him. It was J.D. calling in to Paul to give his thoughts on potentially his friend Lane Kiffin being the next head coach.
I would love for Lane to come. We're pretty good friends, and he knows the SEC better being under Saban and, at Tennessee, and I just think he'd be a great fit. My picks were him, and I was kind of hoping Rex Ryan might have had a chance, too.
Maybe Rex will come as a coordinator.
Well, he said he'd bring his brother, but, I don't know. Those are my two favorite picks, but Lane would just change it probably quicker than most coaches would, and we got to get the passion back at Arkansas. And
well, John, let me ask you this, because we had a guest on earlier that wondered whether Lane would take the job if offered. You seem to know more than all of us. What do you think?
He's not telling me much. I've just been bugging him for the last 3 or 4 days. Please come to Arkansas.
That was a great interview. By the way, so like Phil mentioned, this was not a scheduled interview. John Daly just called up to the Paul Feinbaum show and was able to get in and talk to Paul. And
hey, John Daly, 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. We want your opinion.
I'd love to have John Daly on the show, but it was cool. And by the way, I clipped out the entire. It's about a 6-minute interview. If you go to hitthatline.com, it's also on our SoundCloud page and our Twitter and Facebook. I put up the entirety of the interview there. It's again about 6 minutes long, but it was some good stuff, and this is the entertainer. This is the guy. If College Game Day ever makes its way back to Fayetteville, you got to put him on set. You see him on Dixon Street, and he's just cool. And in the end of the question, Paul Feinbaum asked John Daly about the validity of the potential of Lane Kiffin wanting potentially taking that job. And I know that somewhere up in Northwest Arkansas, 92 wanted the ticket this morning. You had a beat writer for the Palm Beach Post named Jake Ellman say that he thinks Arkansas would be a great step for Lane Kiffin, and he's got all the tools to do well there and loves challenges. And we played that clip yesterday from the ESPN West Palm guy, plus Jerry, I think it's Jerry Hamilton, who's the big national recruiting director for ESPN. So they're seeing the more and more people, it seems like, are hopping on the possibility and the idea that Lane Kiffin to Arkansas is actually a possibility. Our friend Connor O'Gara did not think so yesterday, though, Phil.
Well, I mean, taking a job at Florida Atlantic after you get in hot water, so to speak, at the University of Alabama with the head coach, are you just sick of getting screamed at potentially, every single Saturday? You take that job for an opportunity like this. Let's be honest. You don't get a chance to inherit a gangbusters program when you take over as an outsider for a Division I football team, especially in the Power 5. This isn't a Washington situation, where you have a ready-made successor taking over a program that's usually winning year in, year out, but just suffered a little bit of a downturn this year, but still they're going to play in a bowl game, Washington, and Chris Peterson steps aside. Anywhere that Lane Kiffin goes, or anywhere that any other coach goes in the Power 5, you are going to have to rebuild. It's a much different situation than at an Oklahoma, where you have a ready-made successor that is already part of the engine, and he just steps right into the role. Same at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. you take a job at Florida Atlantic to show that all of the things that have happened previously that might color people's opinion of you or their understanding of you as a coach, whatever happened in Oakland with Al Davis, in which, hey, Lane Kiffin apparently vehemently did not want to pick Jamarcus Russell with the first overall pick, was forced into it by a meddling owner, and things blow up after 1 year. That's not really on him. Whatever happened at USC, scholarship reductions, bowl bans, they won a division title with all of those things against them. And you get the sense there was a bit of a raw deal going on there. And then whatever happened at, the Tennessee thing, I can understand leaving Tennessee for USC after 1 year.
His dream job. It's like when Eddie Sutton left Arkansas for Kentucky. That was his dream job. That's just how it goes sometimes.
And I know that there are parts of his personality that look a little bit prickly, but if he's your coach, you're going to like those things.
You love it. I think it's funny if you watch some of the games when he was at Alabama as the OC. At Tennessee, he was tossing his visor. At LSU, he gave it to an LSU fan. They're ticked off because he's got a little cockiness to him. And again, like you're saying, you love that if he's your head coach. You don't like it if it's the other team. It's like Rodman if you're a Pistons fan. You love Dennis Rodman because he was your bad boy. He was on your team. But you hated him. Every other NBA fan hated him because of what he did to your teams and his antics and stuff. It's kind of a give and take. And he brings a couple different things. You think about the Arkansas connection that people are so tied into. Well, his dad, Monty, obviously coached here. You think about a couple different things. What Arkansas doesn't really have right now, Phil, that they've got in basketball is attention. It's recruiting. They have gotten, and they got some of it with Morris, but you bring Lane Kiffin as your head coach, that is instant attention. Muss and his staff have done a great job with the recruiting, the pictures taking like old NBA photos, and drawing attention to Arkansas basketball. We'll see if he keeps up the winning. They're 7-0 right now. We'll see if that can continue. But long term, you don't know if Kiffin can win at Arkansas, but instantly you're back in conversation, national storylines. You were the ACC team that brought back in Lane Kiffin to your conference. That is instant front page material right there, Phil. And you know what they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Well, and as far as the Monty Kiffin thing is concerned, I think it means more that he grew up as a coach's son. A guy that was a legendary defensive coordinator in college and in the NFL. I mean, that's like Eric Musselman. That is just like Eric Musselman. Grew up with a coach as his father, traveled the country, just as every coach's kid does. And here's the other thing about Kiffin. He has contemporary SEC experience. This is different than like Mike Leach coaching at Kentucky as an OC in the late 90s. That's not the SEC of 2019 and 2020. He's worked with Ed Ogeron. He's worked with Sarkisian. He's worked for Nick Saban. He knows the SEC. I think it would make a lot of sense. Anyway, that was just one of many possible candidates out there. And if you are looking for some place to get away for the holidays, head over to Branson. In fact, you can get there for free with 3 nights at the Hilton Hotel, tickets to a Christmas show, North Pole Adventure at the Shepherd of the Hills. You go on the Christmas music Ferris wheel ride at the Track Family Fun Park and get many Branson restaurant gift cards. Just go to hitthatline.com, enter once per day up until the 10th of December. Got to be 21 or older. It's brought to you by the Branson CVB, hitthatline.com, and ESPN Arkansas.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now open on Sundays. Breakfast is served all day, and our hot buffet is served from 11 to 8, 7 days a week. Our breakfast buffet is now served from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. every day. All-you-can-eat steak Thursday night, cooked order prime rib Friday night, and a seafood buffet on Saturday night. We have a party room that'll seat 50 and plenty of parking. Call ahead, 632-1014.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Save up to $2,700 or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The holiday sale is going on right now. Every hot tub in stock is on sale with over 60 luxury spas to choose from, and they start at just $26.95. Right now is the time. This includes delivery, cover, and startup chemicals. Stay warm and cozy this winter in your brand new hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. It's the perfect gift for you and your family. And right now, up to $2,700 off or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub. And as part of the holiday sale, check out the full line of big green eggs and accessories at Burton Pools and Spas. It's the holiday sale going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Keep your stuff yours. Would you spend less than $500 to secure your home? Guardtronic offers a home security package for only $425 and $19.95 a month. If an alarm goes off, Guardtronic makes the call to get you help 24/7, 365. Celebrating 60 years in business, Guardtronic is a family-owned business, now in the third generation of folks who want to make sure your stuff stays yours. Call them today, 785-2323, or visit guardtronic.com. License E050.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Bailey, Adrio for three. How about that? Bailey with a three at 64-48. Adrio Bailey's making three-pointers tonight.
Back on ESPN Arkansas, Phil Elson, Ty Richardson. It's halftime on a Tuesday, and at the bottom of our first hour, that means we talk with Nikki Chavanel, covering Arkansas athletics at Rivals. Nikki, holiday season is plane tracking season, and I think this is your first football coaching search in your position at Hogbeat. So is it everything you thought it would be so far, or has it left you wanting just a little bit more craziness?
No, this is definitely enough craziness for me. Definitely. I am so ready for this to be over. But it's been fun seeing how the fans react to everything and just hearing. I mean, you can have 50% of people being like all in and 50% being like, absolutely no, would hate that. So it's just kind of crazy how you get such polar opposite responses to different candidates.
You know, you say you want it over, but it isn't even close to being over. It's going to be the rest of this week. I think it depends on who the target is. Maybe somebody Friday. I have a feeling that the next coach is coaching sometime this Saturday and I'm not telling you who it is. I'm not saying it's Lane Kiffin, but he might be in a conference championship game. My money is on a hiring announced after Saturday, not on Saturday or Friday. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it would just depend on how much information is leaked out, how well they're able to keep everything quiet. If someone happens to leak it, then yeah, Saturday. But I doubt that the university would want to have it on game day. It's usually, a Sunday announcement, Monday press conference type of thing. I would probably wager that it would be someone that's coaching this weekend, but if it's Mike Leach, maybe not. I know that he's out recruiting right now, but still a candidate for sure.
Talking with Nikki Chavanel, Rivals Hogbeat here on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Nikki, when you're at school at SMU, was there plane tracking when they hired Morris?
No, there was none of that. I probably actually covered the Sonny Dykes coaching search more heavily than Chad Morris. I was just an intern when I started at Rivals during the Chad Morris search initially. But for Sonny Dykes, there wasn't any plane tracking because he was right down the road at TCU in Fort Worth.
So, Nikki, with all this going on, we had a conversation with Dan Wolkin yesterday, talked to him about fans kind of doing the plane tracking stuff. When you look at the coaching prospects out there and they see how crazed fans are to find out who their new head coach is, does that help or hurt Hunter Yurachek's search?
For the informed fans, I don't think it makes much of a difference, but I do think some people that they'll latch onto a guy and kind of not give it up and just be convinced that he's the guy for the job. I think there's been enough of a variety of candidates that people aren't too I just think people are excited to have it be over more than, let's say, that they're excited that it would be Lane Kiffin. That the hysteria that there was yesterday about all that, I think it's just because Dan Wolken's report about Hunter Yurachek being in Boca, I mean, that was the first real legitimate piece of information that we've had. So anything that is legit, you just want to take off and run with it. And I think it's not necessarily going to hurt. I think Hunter Yurachek's going to do whatever he's going to do. It seems like he's playing along with everything, but I think fans are going to need to stay flexible and not get too caught up in one particular guy.
So, Nikki, I know that you and Hutch have been compiling a lot of different information from fans regarding who they want as the next head coach. By the way, Hutch has been named a 2019 finalist for the Arkansas Sports Writer of the Year, so I wanted to give him his proper due. But based on the responses that you've gotten from your readers, people you've talked to, fans that come up to you and ask, when's the next coach? When you hear, what do you hear? Who do you think is the most popular candidate based on what you've heard?
I honestly don't think that there's one candidate that people are.
See, that's what I feel like too. Yeah,
unified around. There are a lot that a lot of people would be okay with. I think that a lot of people would be okay with Lane Kiffin. There are worries about him considering how much he's jumped around from job to job, and obviously he seems a little bit more exuberant in his personal life than some others. And then Mike Leach, he has this historical record of winning at odd places like Lubbock and in Pullman, but he's got that crazy personality that I don't know how many fans will be okay with that, and also board members. And then you got a guy like Mike Norvell, who has been very, very successful at Memphis, but he walked into a program that was already successful, and he's in the AAC, which a lot of people, because of Chad Morris, have now an aversion to anyone that is coming up through that conference. But it is the Power Six, as they say. So the AAC is not far off from being just as competitive, not as the SEC, but as the lower Power Five conferences.
What do you take, Nikki, from the proof now, I guess, that Yurachek interviewed Lane Kiffin this past weekend? I don't know if that means he was the first interview because you've had 3 weeks, but I do know from what Yurachek said on the hiring of Eric Musselman is he didn't want to interview coaches during the regular season. But I guess he didn't view that the same way with a conference championship with Lane Kiffin. So maybe he was the first interview. With that thought, do you think that means anything? Does that make him the preferred candidate?
I would wager that he wasn't the number one candidate on the board or isn't. I still think that's Matt Campbell or maybe even Matt Rule, which is the guy I think you have to, throw your name into, even though most people know that he's not going to leave Baylor, especially not for a job like Arkansas, which is so risky right now. But I think there were candidates with a more, more assurity than Lane Kiffin has. Like, there is really no proof that he can be a very successful head coach in the SEC. He does have that experience, though. So I do think that there were other interviews that happened on Sunday. We just don't know about them.
So help me and Ty out with this talk we had yesterday. You got the 3 openings in the SEC: Missouri, Ole Miss, Arkansas. I think Arkansas is the more attractive of the jobs because of you don't have the scholarship reductions like you do at the other 2 schools, and the passion for the fan base at Arkansas bigger than Missouri. But the problem is you have a much more difficult short-term rebuild at Arkansas with the way the roster is made up right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would put Ole Miss as the best job out of those 3 just based on their roster. I think that they've kind of shown that their scholarship limitations haven't held them back much. They still sign very large classes. Missouri, you do have the advantage of being on the other half of the SEC, which is an easier job, I think. I don't really think that's debatable whether that's an easier job, but Arkansas has closer ties to Texas that we can recruit from. And I do think that Arkansas just has a generally better brand, even though it's very tarnished right now. I think that Mike Norvell is a guy that Ole Miss is really trying to get that Arkansas couldn't get him to bite on. So I would look out for that. And then Missouri is looking for some up-and-coming type coaches. So I'm not sure that their coaching pool is going to overlap with Arkansas, who needs someone more proven.
Nikki, last question. We've got about 30 seconds on this. You think they potentially could hire someone who's still playing this weekend? If they don't have someone hired by Monday, is that going to be a big problem moving forward?
Well, let me check the calendar. With signing day about 15 days away, you really got to get jumping on that 2020 class, although at this point I cannot say that it would be a top 35 class even. It's going to be a rough class. I don't know how they're going to patch it together. You hope that whoever they hire has some guys that are willing to come to Arkansas from wherever they're committed to right now.
Hit the ground running, and basically you're landing on water. So good luck, right? All right, Nikki. It's a great time to talk about all this stuff, but maybe next week we'll be talking about the actual new coach.
That would be fantastic.
Sure would. All right, Nikki, have a great rest of your week. That's Nikki Chavanel, editor-reporter, Rivals.com, covering all things Arkansas athletics. And
did you hear what she said?
I heard her say it.
Ole Miss above Arkansas, Missouri.
I heard her say it. Yeah, I heard her say it. Also heard her say that Arkansas might be a better job than Missouri. But again, hey, either way, look at Arkansas. Again, this was my point yesterday. At Arkansas, you have a much more difficult roster rebuild with the fact that you're losing your second class in the last 3 years. It's the idea that if you do get it going, if you can get it going, Arkansas, I think, is a better position than I think both of the Mississippi schools, Missouri, and South Carolina as well. Anyway, we want your reactions. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. We are right back.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
People love to hate on boneless wings. At GG Hot Stuff posted, if you eat boneless wings, you trash. Well, Hot Stuff, your trash must be delicious because Buffalo Wild Wings completely reinvented their boneless wings. They're meatier and juicier. At T-Bone Magic posted, only children eat boneless wings. Well, T-Bone, we can all learn a lot from children, like how boneless wings are delicious. So get to B-Dubs and try the new boneless wings. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your number one Arkansas fan.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631520.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Behind the back, whipping, and finish for Bailey. Oh, Jalen Harris with hot sauce.
Back on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson, and you on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. Calls and texts up until 2 o'clock. We do have Kevin McPherson joining us at the bottom of the next hour. Take one candidate off of the candidate list. Matt Campbell will not be leaving Iowa State. He has signed a contract extension, so it seemed the Cyclones are putting their money where their mouth is and are going to keep their head coach for a good long while, at least for now. I guess the thought is that Gus Malzahn won't be a candidate either, right? Would that be right, Ty? If you beat Alabama in another legendary Iron Bowl, does that mean that we're supposed to that anybody who is on the Gus bus for Arkansas, does that mean that you have to just hope that he is sick and tired of the yearly speculation of his job, which, let's just be honest, that's going to be the case in a lot of places? I think I'd take him off the list. I don't think Gus Malzahn is a candidate now.
I think that's fair. I think Tommy made a good point after that game. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Iron Bowl 2019 edition, what an incredible football game. Go back and watch the highlights. Just another Alabama kicker coming up short in a big-time situation. And it was funny how Nick Saban got so animated, not only at halftime, but after the game, and I can understand his reasoning behind getting out at half where you have the second left, they kick the field goal and stuff. But after the game, that's just a brilliant use of the rule by Gus Malzahn. in what he did with this punter and stuff, and them not subbing out Waddle and just the situation they were put in on defense and special teams. And he's angry because he got duped by Gus Malzahn, who's been known to no rule, and that's why he's had good not lately, but he's had good offenses over the years. And I think that, like you're saying, that there's just no chance Gus Malzahn. Now, if they would have lost that game or something, I think that people's hopes could have been lifted just the slightest bit. But the fact that they won the Iron Bowl, now there's zero chance that Gus Malzahn is going to be your next head football coach. And it seems like the majority of our listeners are okay with that, Phil.
But there was another program that reminds me of this problem that Alabama has with kickers. Was it Florida State? Florida State, they always would miss like fourth-quarter field goals against Miami. And did Notre Dame have an issue, or was it the other way around? Florida State had issues against Notre Dame in the early 90s with kicking. It was like the one thing that Florida State could not do was kick field goals when it counted. It's the one thing that Alabama can't do, except, stop opposing offenses every once in a while this year. But that's the one consistent year after year in Alabama. Lots of wins, but lots of griping about kickers, maybe costing you more wins.
Yeah, it's just got to be so difficult because, you think about Alabama, and I know Arkansas fans love that 2006 win that you were able to get over Alabama, but Nick Saban might not be the head coach of the Crimson Tide, and Shula, I don't know if Shula would still be there now, but they win that game. He's probably still there another year. You probably don't get Saban after that. They might have Rich Rod or someone else in there, which is just wild to think about, the fact that an Alabama kicker eventually brought Nick Saban in, and then it's just killed Arkansas ever since. And it's consistent. You think about the kick six. You think about not last night's game, Saturday night's game. You think about I think they had a miss or two against Clemson. Like, there's just continuous times over and over where an Alabama kicker misses a field goal in a clutch situation, and it's a tight ball game, and it just ends up going the other way against the Crimson Tide, Phil.
Well, I'm sure nobody listening here is going to shed a tear.
No, don't feel sorry or remorseful. Absolutely not. It's nothing. I think probably the most prevalent one people think of is the 2011 game against LSU, where Tiffin and Griffin missed those field goals continuously. No, Tiffin. Was Tiffin there then? Yeah, it was Griffin and someone else. I can't remember the other guy's name. But, yeah, I don't think any Arkansas fans are feeling bad for Nick Saban and what he had to go through on Saturday night, Phil. You're exactly right.
877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. You do have Razorback basketball tonight, 7 o'clock, 6:30 is the airtime with Chuck and Coach Z. Questionable if Mason Jones will or won't play. He did not play in the 66-60 win over Northern Kentucky this past Saturday. It was reported the day before he had a shoulder injury.
AC joint sprain.
An AC joint sprain,
yeah.
Which is a legit thing. I mean, you didn't have any details to the injury the day that it was announced that he wouldn't play, but now there's a detail that more than anything it can affect his shooting. Doesn't affect him playing defense, but here's Eric Musselman in yesterday's press conference on Mason Jones' right shoulder injury.
We got together this morning between his classes. He's going to try to practice today, probably not do any contact stuff. Right now, it's not bothering him shooting. It's bothering him defensively a little bit when he puts his arms certain ways. So the good thing is, if he plays, we need his shooting more than we need his defense. I think it'll be a game-time decision. He's going to go through non-contact stuff today.
Yeah, Jones has been playing great defense, in fact. Let's see, we've got him as one of the leading stealers in the country, averaging a little more than 2 steals per game. I know I'd sent this text to Ty earlier today. Let's see, Mason Jones, 16th in the nation in steals per game.
2.37, right?
2.7 steals per game. Yeah, and that goes along with a team that's averaging 11 steals per game. That's 5th best in the country. I've got some stats involving how Arkansas is turning defense into offense at the drop of a hat, which showing reasons why Arkansas is winning basketball games the way that they are. A lot of their points are coming right off of a defensive play, which is what you expected out of the fastest 40, but you're getting it a little bit more right now from the Muss Bus. But before we do any of that, we'll go to the Cherokee Casino hotline and bring in Eddie from Clarksville. Eddie's been talking a little bit more basketball these days, but he wants to talk some coaching search. Eddie, have you been tracking Plains?
Well, I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving with their families. And I think I can speak today for most of the fan base. All we want for Christmas now is a home run hire at the U of A to get this Hawk train rolling again. It can be done. Whoever that coach is, I tested Ty today. One of them's out of the race now, Mr. Matt Campbell. That leaves 4 others, possible head coaches at the U of A. And I would be happy with Lane Kiffin or Mr. Norvell, and go get them the best staff they want. I'd say hire Kiffin, and then go make a staff, bring Pittman back to the U of A. Whatever he's making, add zeros to it, and bring Mr. Pittman and get this offensive line lined out. You get that done, you'll start winning again at the U of A. So we got the money, and the question is, Mr. Yurachek, are you going to write the check? Because that's what it takes. You're as good as your stats. Look at Alabama. Mighty Alabama, you could say, was our coaching staff that cost them this game. And so, that's a fact. 15 penalties, it can happen anywhere if you don't have the right staff. And so, I'd say bring in Mr. Kiffin. The man knows offense. Write the check, and go get Mr. Pittman on this offensive line. And since he's left the U of A, we can't sustain a block. You cannot win in any league if you cannot block. And I'm tired of, 2-10, 3-9, 1-11. I'm tired of it. This program is rich in tradition. And so, if you can win at the U of A, if you bring the right people in, that's a fact. And because one is our fan base, second is our facilities, and most of all, it's our tradition. And so, we're adjacent to Texas, Tennessee, and we're one of the most winning programs in the history of college football. And we will win again if you bring the right people up here. And so, Mr. Yurachek, I don't know if Lane Kiffin is a smokescreen or not. I'd say write the check to the man. What's it going to take? Because that's what it's going to take. You want to play the game today, then you got to play your people. And so you got to get the right people. And so I think Mr. Kiffin can get the job done. Don't get, again, I'd bring back Mr. Pittman back to the U of A. Whatever he's making, I'll say it again, add zeros to it. Get him back to the U of A.
All right, Eddie, appreciate that, man. Let me say this: if Sam Pittman is not the head coach at Arkansas, he's not coming in to be the offensive line coach. You don't leave Georgia, and I don't think Arkansas would be able to outpay Georgia to try to keep him at the same job. You don't make the lateral move from the perennial SEC East champion.
You think that's a lateral move?
Well, I'm calling it lateral because it's in the same league.
What's the opposite of vertical?
Well, I was about to say you don't leave the perennial SEC East champion for Arkansas for the same job. That's what makes it lateral. It's the same job at a different school.
Yeah.
That's what makes it lateral. In the terms of success and ability to have success, yeah, it's not quite the same league.
I know everyone wants to talk tradition with Arkansas football, but the fact of the matter is your tradition died essentially when you went to the SEC in terms of where you were to where you are now. People get mad at that, but you can look at the record. It's just not the same program. It's not.
Well, and you keep searching for a rival and infighting amongst fans. Yeah, that's what happens when you go through as many coaches as you've gone through in these last 8 years. It's been crazy.
It's relative to where you were when you were a perennial program in college football.
We'll continue the talk. Stick around for the second hour after this break.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Alma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
Your #1 Arkansas fan, Auto Owners Insurance and Kohler and Green Insurance is a winning combination. We will work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Call 484-9888. And Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 today or online at kohlergreen.com.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open, located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries, serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art high-speed fiber internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear to partly cloudy as we head through the night. Our overnight low will drop down upper 20s to near 30. An increase in the sunshine on Tuesday, our high in the mid to upper 50s. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, our high upper 50s to lower 60s. And then a chance of a few showers or storms Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Hey, guys, enjoy your show. Out of all the sports programs in the state, I really enjoy y'all the most.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide
it?
open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
I went and looked up the kicker who was on the Sports Illustrated cover, and I remembered this issue, 1993 college football preview issue from Sports Illustrated. Scott Bentley on the cover, and that was Florida State's kicker because the previous 2 years they had lost to Miami on 2 wide right field goals, and they bring Bentley in as part of a big recruiting class. He's like the most famous kicker in college football history up to that point. I don't think he'd ever kicked a game yet, and ended up winning the national title for them, kicking a field goal to beat the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Orange Bowl that followed that year. I mean, by the way, this Miami-Florida State kicking thing, there have been 5 games decided by a last 5 minutes or so missed field goal, all by Florida State, all by the Seminoles. It's crazy, And now look, Miami and Florida State, they're not what they used to be, not even close. So neither is Nebraska. I mean, what are we doing here? We're talking about national titles with Florida State, Nebraska, Miami. What is this, 1994? These programs used to actually mean something.
I know people aren't exactly happy with Manny Diaz down there at Miami. Scott Frost in Nebraska, they really haven't gotten it going there. And then Florida State obviously firing Willie Taggart days before Chad Morris was let go here at Arkansas. It's weird to say the programs college football cycling through at one point were three of the most dominant programs in college football. I know I wasn't really alive for their heyday, but I've read stories, I've watched games, and I remember when those were the blue bloods of college football, and they're anything but that now, Phil.
Well, Florida State was never a blue blood before Bobby Bowden, and with the exception of the one championship year under Jimbo Fisher, I mean they were good for most of Fisher's tenure, but the thought of Florida State as being like one of the blue bloods in college football, that extends only as far as Bobby Bowden's start there. And I think in the mid to late 70s. Miami, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, they were a nothing in college football until Howard, I'm forgetting his name. He coached him in the early 80s with Kelly and Jim Kelly. And I mean, that's where the Miami thing started. That lasted about 23, 24 years. And then they turned into just what Miami is right now. The crazy thing is how Nebraska's fallen. 3 years in a row now without making a bowl game. You know the last year that was the third year in a row Nebraska did not make a bowl game? It was 1961. And there were like 6 bowl games in 1961? That's incredible to think of Nebraska football being at that level now.
Bruce in Fort Smith says Schellenberger.
Schellenberger, that's right. And he's the guy, by the way, that started the football program at Florida Atlantic. The first year they had Division I football, he was the head coach.
How about
and here we are talking about the head coach at FAU and Lane Kiffin.
So you mentioned this 3 straight non-bowl games, Phil, for Arkansas. I remember reading off this stat last week. 1941 through 1943 was the last time that Arkansas had 3 losing seasons. And maybe I need to clarify something with what I said going into the break. When I said the tradition died Arkansas football-wise when they joined the SEC, I'm talking about the tradition of where they were one of the best college football programs in the country. And you had a little stint for about 2 years with Bobby Petrino, and you can maybe say, I guess, 98 and 2006 are years that you could say, well, they're up there for that. But I'm talking about where Arkansas was Arkansas. Like Arkansas, and you could say 1969, game of the century with Texas, Arkansas. I mean, that used to be one of the lifebloods of college football. And the same could be said about the Arkansas basketball program. Now, the recent history there is a little closer in terms of just like the quickness, because they kind of, when they joined the SEC, that's really when they got things going in Arkansas basketball, because no one really started to get the track going. But it's crazy how things cycle through, and I'm wondering when Arkansas's time to get back, maybe not to the level that they were at some point in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but to where they're at least competing for the SEC West title. How long is it going to take for this football program to get to a point where people were talking about them preseason winning the SEC West? That's a question I have for this next coach. It could be a while, Phil.
What about just finishing in the top 4
in
the SEC West? What about a race for 4th place? You're a ways off from that with the rebuild that you have to do. And this next coach, whoever it is, look, I understand they're going to have to go into pretty hyperdrive style sales mode with recruits as soon as before the ink dries on the contract. They got to be on the phone. They got to be getting the kids who already have committed to keep their commitment, maybe reach out to some of the kids who have made a decommitment in the past few weeks, and try to, plumb the depths of wherever you can to gin up something that resembles a recruiting class. But don't take that sales job to the fans. This is the one thing I don't want from the next coach. I don't want to try to create any new traditions. None of that, throwing the A stuff that you got from Bielema. Don't sell that you're going to have an explosive offense, no matter what. Don't come in and start selling that kind of stuff. If it's Lane Kiffin, and Kiffin has been a coach that set records as an OC or a co-OC with Sarkisian at Southern California, and you're known as an offensive guy, and Even the word genius is thrown in there every once in a while. And you've developed quarterbacks, and you've won national titles, and you've done this and that on the offensive side for some of the best coaches in the history of the game. Forget about all that stuff. Don't be pumping up the quarterback you recruited that made it to the NFL, the one instance of somebody that you really have done that with. Don't sell yourself to the fan base. This goes to what one of my favorite listeners on our show here got to. I think she said this on the Morning Rush. Miss Lisa from northeastern Arkansas. She said, I want a coach. Okay? It sounds like a simplistic statement, but that's exactly what you need. Just coach your kids. Just coach them up. Get the program to a better place to where it finally starts to sell itself. Don't come in with a load of crap that you got to feel that you have to present in some sort of a way to get everybody on board. I think people are going to be on board with whomever it is. Like I said yesterday, as long as you're not Chad Morris, you're going to be fine. You will have time. You will get your 3 years, at least, to build something that resembles a competitive SEC West football program.
All right, let me play devil's advocate for a sec. Football coaches are car salesmen to a certain extent. They have to sell recruits. They have to sell the fan base. They have to sell the boosters. Now, it's whether you deliver, and it's the right promises. It's the right wording that you use at press conference. Lane Kiffin or Mike Leach or whoever walks in is not just going to be silent, be mute, and not say anything in the press conference concerning the future and his envision for this football program. You can't do that. That's just not going to work. But if you do make a statement, don't make it outlandish, don't make it out there, and follow through on it. That's what you're speaking to. The fact that Chad Morris with Brett Dolan interviewed him in that plane, and he said, this is going to be one of the most explosive offenses in college football.
Well, he made himself out to be something he wasn't.
Phil, I mean, okay, we can pile on him all he wants, but the dude knows offense. I mean, I can read back the stats at SMU. We've talked to Taj Boyd. I mean, he just didn't work out as a head coach. That's his biggest thing is he did not work out as a head coach, and they didn't get the offense going. What if he starts having success as an OC somewhere else? Then you're going to do a double take and be like, whoa. But it's just the role.
It's a sales job that went deeper than the interview with Dolan. At every Razorback fan club across the state, you heard hammer down, you heard left lane only, you heard all these things. This is the kind of stuff I want to avoid. It was the same thing with that you saw in some cases, even with a Jimmy Dykes, a hashtag Be Arkansas. You always got to come up with some sort of a hashtag slogan to define what your program's going to be.
That's marketing, dude. That's Hunter Yurachek does it with one Razorback. You don't have a pace and space with Muss.
It doesn't have to be that way. We don't need the hashtags now. You just need somebody to actually coach a team up.
Well,
I'm not saying don't get up there and not communicate. You got to communicate. You got to be able to at least say what you're about as a coach, but you don't make the used car salesman. I don't think every head coach is a used car salesman. I think some can be taken with honesty for the things that they're saying and actually back it up a little bit.
Well, it just boils down to winning. You're not complaining about this, Phil, if Chad Morris is winning football games, the offense is doing what it's doing. But it comes back to you have to follow through. If you're going to make a statement, you have to follow through on it. Like you're saying, might be better to keep your mouth shut when it comes to those types of phrases.
877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Halftime returning right after this quick commercial break.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
I get sick and tired of hearing all these national media members think that Arkansas was wrong for firing Chad Morris. Did they watch this season at all? Did they watch any games this year? Arkansas lost to San Jose State at home. They lost to Western Kentucky, got blown out by them at home. I don't know what team they've been watching this season, but to me it is completely and totally justifiable for firing Chad Morris.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Eagle Crest Golf Course is open.
season, and winter rates are now in effect. Just $35 to enjoy Eagle Crest Golf Course, card included. Winter rates are back, and Eagle Crest is ready for you. Lush zoysia fairways, beautiful bent grass greens, and the best views in the River Valley. Just $35, card included. So get your golf buddies together and head to Eagle Crest Golf Course. Winter rates just $35. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Looking for a bit of cowboy flavor? Introducing Hardee's Southwest Patty Melt. A hearty sandwich with all the taste of the great American Southwest. We're talking a hotter, juicier, thick burger made with 100% black Angus beef, pepper jack cheese, zesty Santa Fe sauce, and enough pickled jalapenos to give it a kick. If it got any more authentic, we'd have to serve it with a cactus and a side of tumbleweeds. The Southwest Patty Melt. Now at Hardee's. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Hotter and juicier beef patty as compared to the Hardee's original beef patty.
Deer season, duck season, and the holiday seasons are here. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear and gift items for all the seasons. Firearms, footwear, archery, waterfowl, fishing, cold weather clothing, workwear, work boots, casual shoes and boots, hiking boots, and hundreds of great gift ideas for the holiday season. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
December savings are yours at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau. Celebrate the joy of Christmas with end-of-the-year savings on their full line of Kubota tractors, up to the M7 172. Also, skid steers and Kubota excavators. Now's the time for your end-of-the-year savings. Only at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
In the moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In the moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 and online kohlergreen.com.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? XL Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with XL Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Bird on the rookie Stewart. Barrett finds a way. Whoa! Ellison was shadowing Bird, and Bird got the shot over the top of Ellison, and Joe Klein just came storming in.
All right, let's see what's going on later tonight. Arkansas, Austin Peay on the court, Nolan Richardson Court, Bud Walton Arena, 6:30 for the broadcast, 7 o'clock for the tip. And the Hogs will be playing against, I guess, a fairly high-powered offensive team. If you believe the stats, 82.5 points per game scored by Let's Go Peay, which is the official website, by the way, of Austin Peay Athletics. That's not me just being juvenile, although given a chance, I probably will be juvenile.
Would hop on that opportunity, absolutely.
21st in the country in scoring. They take pretty good care of the ball, 49th in turnovers, just under 14 per game. Terry Taylor, the back-to-back winner of the Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Week Award, 6'5" junior shooting guard, averaging 23.3 points per game. Shoots 56% from the field. And they only have a couple of scorers, though, that average over 10 points. So the scoring is condensed between Taylor and Jordan Adams. They're a young club that got 3 freshmen in the rotation, and they have faced an SEC team. They, in fact, got trounced by Vanderbilt in Nashville, 90-72. They've lost on the road at Western Kentucky, at Tulsa, at Vanderbilt. They've beaten at home Oakland City, Southeastern Louisiana, and South Carolina State. Looks like they average about, 93, 94 points per game at home, and average more like 69 to 70 points per game on the road. So I think you're going to see a different team than those stats show. And Arkansas should win this in a walk, Ty. I mean, they really should. This is a game, and maybe I'll say this until it finally happens. Like, I wasn't going to pick Arkansas to win a football game until they finally did. When are the shooters going to start dropping them in? You know, when will the shots start to fall? Because now, I mean, back-to-back games haven't looked very good offensively. And at Georgia Tech, yeah, maybe it didn't travel on the road, but it was a pretty horrendous first half of offense against Northern Kentucky. And you can win your games on defense, but sooner or later, this team is just going to have to get out there and drop in the shots.
Hey, you're exactly right. You and I looked up the statistic before the show, the fact that they're number 1 in three-point percentage defense in college basketball, and like 320s, 330s on the offensive end when it comes to their three-point shooting percentage. Isaiah Joe hasn't been the same consistent guy that we saw in his freshman year. You have Mason Jones dealing with the shoulder injury, didn't participate last game. We don't know if he's going tonight. As we alluded to earlier, Eric Musselman said it's a game-time decision for him. And I know that you're happy with the 7-0 start, the fact that they could go 8-0 tonight. First time since 97-98 team has done that you get to that point. But these type of games, these type of shooting performances, Phil, are not going to hold up in conference play. They're probably not going to hold up in Indiana. They're probably not going to hold up at Western Kentucky on Saturday night. You have to find your stroke. You have to start shooting. I know we've talked about the three-point line moving back, how that's hurt the game, and they have to adjust it into it and stuff. But they just have – I mean, they've gotten open looks this year, Phil. Look to the overtime game against Georgia Tech where Isaiah Joe got 3 open looks, 2 of them were three-pointers. They just haven't knocked down some open shots sometimes. So you got to hopefully find that stroke before conference play, hopefully before this Saturday night, because there's potential that you could lose to Charles Bassey in Western Kentucky on Saturday night, Phil.
This team has a pretty good mid-range game. They shoot 55% on 2-point shots, and they get a lot of high-quality looks because of how well they play defensively. Now, we've got a couple of sound bites from Eric Musselman's press conference yesterday that gets to the heart of these two conversations. One's about the shooting. So, all right, Mason Jones is only shooting 29% from behind the three-point line. He might not even play today because of this shoulder sprain, and maybe there's still some that think that it's not a shoulder injury, that it's just shielding a little disagreement that he might have had with Eric Musselman. But I'm not here to say it's one or the other, but those are the other. That's the other end of the side of the coin that you hear. Desi Sills, this doesn't make any sense. Desi shot 46.7% from three-land last year. He's 2 for 30 this season. That's 0.67%. That doesn't make any sense. Juntel Silla, 1 for 10. Really. So Jalen Harris is 4 for 13. He's already made more threes than he did last year. So really, your shooting woes are amongst 4 players who have better numbers from three-point land in their career than this year. And Eric Musselman talked about that yesterday at the press conference.
We feel like we're getting pretty good looks. Shoot, even in that Georgia Tech game, and we had some wide open looks down the stretch. Like Desi, we've showed him all of his makes. We've showed him all of his misses. Felt like he was kind of floating and not leaving in the same spot that he took off from on his jump shot. That's one of the things we've talked to him about. But his arch on the ball is really good. His backspin and rotation on the shot's really good. Obviously, when Isaiah shoots, you think it's going in every time. If we start clicking from 3, I think will be that much harder. If we keep clanking, and we got to be really good defensively.
Phil, if you look at the differences between last year and this year's team, the glaring difference is Daniel Gafford being the 6'10", 6'11" center that they could throw the ball to the post and kind of space out a little bit. Now, that didn't necessarily help when it came to drives because you had a big man down low, so maybe that's one of the reasons this basketball team is shooting better from the two-point line this year because they don't necessarily have a big guy in the paint 24/7. But when it comes to spacing and like the defense collapsing on Gafford as they did times last year, that led to more open looks for threes. Maybe that's also an indication of the difference between last year and this year's team, that you really don't have a guy you could throw the ball to the post and then kick out for a three. You have a lot of guards on this team, which can be good, and we've shown so far that is good with the 7 wins, but there's also the cons to that as well, Phil.
So, I mean, one of the things Arkansas is really good at doing is forcing turnovers and converting those turnovers into points. They force 20 turnovers a game, 6th most in the country. Defensively, they steal the ball 11 times per game. That's 5th in the country. And the Hogs are also plus 7.5 in the turnover margin. That's 5th best in the country. But, I mean, do turnovers really mean very much offensively? You got to turn that into points. And that's one thing this team does extremely well. So I'm just doing a little math here. Arkansas has scored 151 points off of 141 turnovers from their opponents. So they're getting about a point per turnover, which sounds really good. They also score almost 30% of their points off turnovers, which is a little bit of a downtick percentagely from the previous game before Northern Kentucky. They were scoring about a third of their points on turnovers. But what do you get on a turnover? Usually you get either a breakout or you get an odd-numbered fast break, and you get a high percentage quality shot, hopefully in the lane or right at the rim. Eric Musselman talked about what Arkansas is doing defensively to create some offense.
We wanted to try to be a team that creates offense through our defense for sure. I think that the entire year we're going to have to find a way to get some easy baskets in the flow of the game, and certainly when you can get out and get live ball turnovers, your percentage with any team in the country, when you have a live ball turnover, your percentage of scoring it at the other end goes up pretty significant rather than playing against half-court defense. And we have some guys that really do a great job of jumping in passing lanes and trying to get deflections and things like that. And so we want to keep that as one of our staples or one of our identities from a defensive standpoint for sure.
So you know what that is? That's partially coaching. That's getting your defense prepped for the way the opponent plays the game offensively. That's buy-in defensively from these players. And it's also showing, and again, they're going to have to outscore a few opponents in the SEC. But it also does show that when you don't have your shots, you still find a way to score enough points to win.
Jordan's getting at us on our YouTube live stream wondering if they're exerting too much energy on defense, which in turn has messed up and made them tire on offense. And I think when you look at teams across the board in college basketball, and I think a lot of people want to point to Virginia, how much effort they exert on offense. It also comes down to pace of play. Arkansas, pace and space has been the mantra that Eric Musselman has used since he arrived on campus. He wants to play fast. He wants to shoot a lot of threes. They just frankly haven't knocked a lot of them down, and that comes to chemistry, not only with the coaches but the players as well. I know that some of these players played together last year, but you have the addition of Jimmy Witt, you have the addition of Gentel Silla, you have the addition of some other guys that you're still trying to get used to play with each other. Defensively, it's looked like that they've really come together on that end of the court, but offensively it hadn't been there yet. But again, you can look at it either glass half empty, glass half full. Glass half empty, you'd say, well, the offense hasn't shown up yet so far. What if it doesn't show up this season? And you can look at glass half full. Well, the defense has showed up, and they're still winning games in spite of their poorest offensive performance. What happens when they start heating up on that end? That's how you have to look at it right now. I think most fans are leaning towards being optimistic based on the fact that this team's 7-0 heading into tonight's game against Austin Peay, Phil.
Well, also the idea, and this is something Desi Sills said when he spoke to the media yesterday, that it's like one of our rejoins says, shooters shoot. That's the only way you get yourself out of a slump. And more than anybody, I mean, you know how good of a shooter Isaiah Joe is. You knew how good of a shooter Desi Sills was last year. 46.7% as a freshman behind the line is not a fluke. Sooner or later, these shots will start falling because they're getting good looks. Halftime. We'll continue the basketball conversation in a moment with Kevin McPherson. Halftime's brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. The year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays are very stressful, but a new RV from Breeden can help take it away. Plus, Breeden lets you pick your deal, either sales tax paid, 6 months of no payments, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever deal works for you, that works for Breeden as well. And, of course, you get that sweet Breeden exclusive free maintenance for life with every new RV. Breeden RV in Van Buren, Breeden RVs for more information. Stay tuned. Halftime talking basketball after the break.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
December is trading time at Rath Auto Resources. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with our last big promotion of the year. Trading time. With tax season just around the corner, we need your trade. So we're giving up to $3,300 above Kelley Blue Book value when you trade your old ride for a nicer, newer car from our Rath Road Ready inventory. We'll even buy your car. That extra money can go a long way toward helping you get more car or reducing your monthly payment. Plus, if you're one of those waiting on a tax refund, your wait is over. Ask one of our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists how our TaxMax program can get you access to your money now. If you're keeping the car you have, let us get it ready for the new year with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires or a basic oil change for only $24.95 in our Meineke Car Care Center. Start driving better today with Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Metal Direct offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Direct assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by their location at 7420 Enmar Drive in Little Rock, 1 block off University behind Napa Auto Parts, or call them at 501-562-3112. Metal Direct, the right material for the right price.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Arkansas is heading to Monday night for the chance to repeat. They'll count the basket at the end for Corliss. Monday night, the Razorbacks looking for the repeat.
Keep the basketball conversation going with Kevin McPherson on Twitter at ARHoopScoop, covering all things Arkansas Razorback basketball, including recruiting. Kevin, the end of the early signing period came to a close. Like, what was that? Just before Thanksgiving. No surprises, I guess. Did you ever think you would hear Arkansas the 5th best recruiting class in the country?
Well, I thought eventually that day would come again. Really kind of surprised that Musselman, you know, we saw what he did in the transfer portal and when he came in, and we obviously see what Jimmy Witts meant to the team with the work done there. And then you look at Jean Tilsilla on the other side of that, and we're still kind of waiting to see if that's going to pan out. But really, I thought in terms of rankings in this first true class where you're really trying to recruit the high school talent, I did not expect Arkansas to be able to clean up like they did in state with the 4 top players in the state, all ranked in the national top 100, getting those guys committed. Only one of the guys signed during the early period, which you mentioned. So let's take that. Let's have some perspective on that ranking, because we know now that there's another 6 months to go before the spring period, which starts in mid-April, that anything can happen. And so getting 4 guys committed is great. Only one made it official. So there's 3 out there that can still be recruited, for a while. But, just getting these guys on board to say we want to be Razorbacks at this point, I think is a big tip of the hat goes out to Musselman, because, again, he had to play catch-up. Other schools had the advantage of being able to recruit these guys for a longer period of time. And I thought Musselman and his staff did a great job of strategically going after these guys. And I don't mean it in a disingenuous way. I mean, they genuinely wanted these guys, and the strategies weren't just based on, getting to stay home for the sake of staying home. They showed them the real value in playing in this system, and for this staff that has all that NBA experience. It's not just that they have the experience, they know how to sell it. And I think that's what we see when we see these 4 commitments.
Kevin, out of the 4 big commits, getting Jalen Williams to me is so huge. And it's not to, cut down any, Moses or Devontae or KK at all. It's just the thought that of what you could have as a front court next year: Connor Vanover, Reggie Chaney, Jalen Williams. Is Williams going to be, you think he'd be ready to step in and give significant minutes as a freshman?
Well, I would say yes under normal circumstances. Just looking at Musselman's history on the college level, we know he had a McDonald's All-American big man at Nevada just last year that didn't see a lot of run. And that may just be based on the individual and what else they had on that team. So I think it's hard to say right now without a deeper track record with Musselman as a head coach at the college level to be able to say for certainty. But just looking at the player himself, Jalen Williams is 6'10", 235, and he brings really a lot of skill for a big man. Soft hands, can handle the ball, can take a defensive rebound and actually lead a break. He's a plus. I consider him almost an elite passer for a big man, because he can pass out of the low block and set guys up. He can pass from the high post to cutters and guys that are offset on the 3 line. He's got that court vision and feel, kind of like a huge point guard sometimes. And then he can knock down shots at all 3 levels. And he's not the best athlete, but he's quicker off his feet than people probably realize, and he anticipates so well. Again, that's high floor IQ. So talking about him as a player, yeah, I could see him coming in and being an immediate contributor. But then I look back at Musselman's track record, and I just wonder, that's not to say that things won't change with this big class, but I think it would be unusual for a Musselman coach team for 4 freshmen to come in and play heavy minutes right off the bat. But again, roster turnover, different things that we don't know about now might play into some of that as well.
Talking with Kevin McPherson, Arkansas basketball on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Kevin, you mentioned this recruiting class, top 5 on 24/7, I think 6 on ESPN, top 10 in Rivals. This is the best recruiting class, if it stays this way through signing day, since for Arkansas basketball. Is there a year that stands out to you that you could compare it to, or that's close to in realm of success?
Is there a year that's – I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Did you ask if there's a year that compares to this?
Yeah, so I texted Richard Davenport last week. I was like, has Arkansas ever had – what's the highest recruiting? He said they had the #1 recruiting class in 1996. And then obviously you had Scotty and Corliss coming in that 1 year, and that would have been, 92. So is there – since then, has there been a class that you could compare this one to, since it looks to be in a top 5 realm, Kevin?
Yeah, well, let me make a correction on that. The #1 recruiting class was actually the class of 1995, and that was preceding the 95-96 season. And, yeah, that was a loaded class. Some of those guys didn't make it. Sunday Adebayo, Jesse Pate were guys that started out as Razorbacks that year and only played a few games. And then there was a big, NCAA infractions thing for Adebayo later that was overturned. But to make another more recent comparison, Stan Heath had some good classes. Olu Famatimi, Ronnie Brewer class was a really good one. Vincent Hunter out of J.A. Fair was part of that class. if you go back to Mike Anderson's 2017 class of Daniel Gafford, Darius Hall, and Khalil Garland, that was a really good class. They also got Gabe Osaboyne in the spring of that class for that class. I thought that was a really good class. Of course, we never saw Garland get to play, and we know Hall transferred out after a promising freshman season. And of course, Gafford lived up to all the expectations. So I think that was a strong class. On paper, this class is better than that class, and arguably better than the one that Stan Heath had. I wouldn't say it's as good as the one Nolan had back in '95, but that's on paper. We also got to see, again, when I look at a Moses Moody, I think here's a guy that's probably deserving of some of these projections as a one and done. I think all four of these guys are honestly, I truly believe they're all potential, all SEC, all league type of players down the line. Doesn't mean they'll all do it right away, but if they stay, and are part of that program, I can see it for all of them. So from that standpoint, I think this is the best class they've had in some time.
So Arkansas has a chance to start out 8-0 for the first time since the 97-98 season. Then they go to Western Kentucky on Saturday. Kevin, do you think if they beat Austin Peay tonight and then Western on Saturday, think they'll find themselves in the top 25 next week?
Yeah, they'll break through if they do that. And I was listening to the previous segment. You guys did a great job of breaking down some of the statistics and some of the stuff that's been going through my mind as I watch this team when we talk about the three-point shooting. And you talk about the defense and how good it's been. And I know there were some lapses against Northern Kentucky, especially on the perimeter. But if you look at how good that defense has been, and y'all were talking about the turnover margins, Arkansas's top 5 in steals, turnover margin, and scoring off of that, and what percentage of the scoring has been. But I think you got to look a little even deeper at some of the struggles. I think one of the things that's hurt both Desi Seals and Isaiah Joe, especially Joe, is getting three-point shots in transition. I think that was one of the things, if you look back last year, Joe got a lot of good looks in transition. Primary transition, secondary transition. I haven't seen a lot of that. If you go back to some of the things Musselman said about the minutes that Jalen Harris gives, he says when he's on the floor, we play a little faster, and we're able to, get some easier buckets in transition. But he's not been the primary handler on this team. That's been Jimmy Witt, who's been outstanding, by the way. I think his numbers have been quietly outstanding when you look at leading the team in rebounds, his low turnovers. But he's not a guy that has necessarily promoted those kickouts for transition threes and that we like to see, that Joe likes and likes to blend into his game. And I think that even a Desi Seals would benefit from. I'm not making excuses for those guys. I think those are valid things that are a little bit different so far this year than what we saw last year.
So Jamario Bell is a new Razorback basketball player, 6'5", 250. Wide body. You think he plays? You think we're going to see much of him at all anytime soon? We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's a loaded question right now. I know the staff thinks he could shoot the ball a little bit. I'll be surprised if he gets significant run. It's he's changing sports. It's late. The season's already begun. There's been a lot of time put in by the other bigs, and I think this guy keeps a really tight rotation, 7, maybe 8. I don't expect to see him a whole lot, guys.
All right, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that, Kevin. It's always good talking with you. Now that it's basketball season, no more football season, we'll be doing this a lot more. Thanks so much.
Good to be with you guys. Thank you.
You got it. Kevin McPherson. Give him a follow at AR Hoop Scoop. He's on Hogville, and he comes on our show quite a bit. So there's something he said there, Ty, about the need of the transition three. That I cover the Arkansas women's basketball team, and Mike Neighbors loves the transition three-pointer. Absolutely loves it. Thinks it's maybe one of the best shots you can possibly get because usually it's undefended. You don't have a defender really very close to you at all. And it's also a good chance with a trailer coming for an offensive rebound on a miss. So I know it's men's versus women's basketball. It's a different thing. But a transition three-point shot for a shooter like Isaiah Joe, that's a good look.
I just remember as kids we were talking to take it all the way to the cup and not pull it for three. Now, I often went against my advice because I like to shoot threes regardless of what the coaches said. But, no, I agree. That's a good shot. Hopefully you'll see more of that in the upcoming games with Arkansas basketball, Phil.
All right, we got a choice, either 3 up, 3 down, or get off my lawn, because that's coming up next. If you got anything for us, 877-377-6963. Cherry on the top after this.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
Why go north when you can get the best deal on a new GMC or Buick here locally at Harry Robinson Buick GMC? There is no reason to drive more than an hour to buy your next vehicle. Harry Robinson has the same big rebates and discounts promised at other dealers, and Harry always gives you more for your trade. So when it comes time for your next vehicle, don't go north. Come see why Harry Robinson is the fastest growing Buick GMC dealer in the region. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. Get amazing fast fiber internet, 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for only $79.95 per month. TV packages from the basics to our amazing altered TV, starting at $32.95. Fiber phone services start at $29.95. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out if we are installing in your area, or call 1-833-4-WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Come Get You Some has been proudly serving the Fort Smith and surrounding area for over 18 years. They sell and install lift kits, wheels, tires, leveling kits, LED lights, differential gears and lockers, and so much more. They also repair vehicles as well. Do you need ball joints, tie rod ends, or just have that pesky service light on? They can help with that too. With a full selection of AN fittings, custom brake lines, and thousands of tabs and brackets in stock, they have those hard-to-find parts for the build-it-yourselfer. Come get you some. 2728 Towson Avenue, 479-782-6833.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture. Here at Frank Rowe Furniture, for the month of December, is offering no sales tax and free delivery. What a wonderful gift for Christmas to our customers. We carry many made-in-the-USA products, including Catnap, Best Home Furnishings, Union Furniture, Affordable Furniture, and Speed Queen Laundry. We offer several financing options, including in-house, no-credit check financing. Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your voice lets him know he's safe. Shelter Insurance does the same for you. Roadside assistance provided by Road America is now included with your auto policy. We'll take care of you. Thank you. While you take care of what's most important. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
7 seconds. Got to drive it, Brad. You got to drive it. Matt for maybe the win. The follow is good. Arkansas in overtime.
Closing it up with a cherry on the top tonight. Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. If you got anything to get with us, because we can do one of two things here. We can either do 3 up, 3 down, or we can do what we usually do on a Tuesday get off my lawn. If you got any one of those things, I have a feeling people have more get off my lawn. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Ty Richardson, let your right finger choose what we're going to do next.
Get off my lawn.
Listen, old man.
Do not you what? Announce my presence with authority.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
The old man.
Get off my lawn. Presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
Okay, so you're telling me we're doing Get Off My Lawn. I can get with that. It's brought to you by Breeden RV and Van Buren. Get with them now. The year-end clearance sale continues. They'll let you pick your deal. You can either get your sales tax paid, 6 months of no payments, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Either way, you're going to get a great deal from Breeden RV, and you can choose the best deal that works for you. Plus, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life. That's Breeden RV and Power Sports. They're on Alma Highway in Van Buren, also on the web at BreedenRVs.com. Okay, so I found the most disgusting-looking pizza in the history of food.
Those words typically do not go together when you say disgusting and pizza, because
Well,
we
now,
know
I mean-
that pizza's like sex. Even when it's bad, still pretty good, right?
Like baseball for me. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's usually pretty good. But here's the thing. You can put anything on like a round dough and put something on it and call it pizza, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get breakfast pizza. That's how you get dessert pizza. It's all pizza. Just a round thing, drop some things on it, boom, pizza. Put it in an oven at least. Like maybe you just have to cook it. But there are some companies out there that specialize in pizza, including one whose former frontman, pitchman, apparently ate 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. But I don't think that John Schlatter, whatever the guy's name is, who is up in arms about what's going on at Papa John's, he said that their quality has taken a big hit since he left the company, or was forced out of the company, for good reason, too. I wonder if he tried the pizza that is, and I'm using that term very loosely here, I wonder if he tried this pizza that Papa John's is introducing in South Korea. And they're calling it the American hot dog pizza. They had to put the word American in front of it because I don't know an American that would eat this food stuff. I'm not going to call it a pizza. It's a food stuff. You could, I guess it's edible, but if you put these things all together on one quote-unquote pizza dough, I have a feeling it's going to make you want to stick your fingers as far down your throat as you possibly can.
Yeah, I'm not a picky person outside of my weird dislike for macaroni and cheese. I'm really not picky. That's really the only food that I don't like that people give me a weird look at. And I was curious. I was like, hot dog pizza. I was thinking about it. And then Phil showed me the picture and put
It's
it in.
disgusting.
It looks absolutely disgusting.
I think you would eat macaroni and cheese pizza before you would eat this thing.
Yeah, I know. It just looks revolting. There's not many photographs of pizza that I'm just sticking my tongue out. But this just it didn't look appetizing one bit. I don't know how they sell it there.
I would eat a real piece of pizza that has been wiped under the Jolly Green Giant's armpit before I ate this pizza. Listen to what's on the American hot dog pizza. Thanks to Papa John's, which is now becoming another term for whole hot dogs. You get a whole hot dog, not cut up. It's a whole hot dog on every slice, mixed in with chili salsa sauce, mozzarella cheese, because you got to have mozzarella on a pizza, right? Cheddar cheese sauce, not cheddar cheese mix. It's the sauce, Dijon mustard sauce, and pickle relish. I'll put it this way. I would eat the hot dog, the pickle relish, the mustard sauce, and probably the cheddar cheese in a bun. But I'm not taking bites of hot dogs on pizza dough. And when you mix in whatever this chili salsa sauce is, the other thing, too, is you got to see this. Ty, I sent you a photo of this thing. I feel like we should put it out on the Hit That Line Twitter feed so that our listeners, our halftimers, can get a sense of how disgusting this thing looks. It really looks like you have somebody's giant middle finger on every slice of pizza. And it's like Papa John's is, flipping off their customers by selling this in South Korea, too.
Yeah,
Get off my plate!
It doesn't look good at all. at all. And it's weird because most of the time when you think pizza, you're like, oh, that's going to be pretty good. But not in this case. Not in this case at all.
Carl from Lavaca and Robert and Van Buren both thinking that Joey Chestnut, Mr. Hot Dog Champion, would really like this piece of pizza. But you know why he wouldn't? Because he doesn't have the hot dog buns to dip in water so that he can get them down his gullet even quicker. That's the only way, by the way, you could eat this piece of pizza, by dunking it in water and shoving it down your mouth, and by being paid to do it. I don't know anybody that would actually order the American hot dog pizza.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it either. All right, my get off my lawn, Phil. So I'm in Stillwater this weekend, Saturday night, and I've never been to Bedlam. It was a cool experience. It's a rivalry game. I like going to Stillwater because I like to walk around and stuff. It's fun. My first week on the job, Tyler comes in studio. I'm wearing an Oklahoma Sooners shirt that I got for like $10 or something on Poshmark just because I like the design. It's an old Rain Spooner college sports t-shirt or Hawaiian shirt, and you guys know my love and affinity for Hawaiian shirts, and I just liked it. I never thought twice about it that it was OU. I just thought it was a cool shirt. And I have my backstory. I was born and raised in Little Rock, then went to Fayetteville, never really bordered Oklahoma. And so I've never seen the going at each other from Arkansas and Oklahoma fans. And so they gave me grief about that the first week. And then I realized, after counting the games that I've been to, that I am now 0-4 live when my team or whoever I'm rooting for that day plays Oklahoma. So I got that. And then I got a really annoying buddy who's a diehard Oklahoma fan that always chirps, which is really getting annoying. And then the thing that really set me off is at Bedlam, I hear this. I kid you not, it seems like every other down. Phil, it was continuous the entire night. First down, second down, third down, like incomplete pass. They just continually played. They played it after the game, and I was so frustrated. My aunt, who's an Oklahoma State alum, big-time Cowboys fan, was telling me about the band before, and I was like, all right, you just hate the Sooners. It can't be that bad. But then I was actually at the game, and I heard it over and over and over. And they play
it more than Tennessee and Rocky Top, because that's the same idea. It's just like ad nauseum, over and over and over.
Like it, man, they just kept on doing it. And I know we have a couple Sooner fans listening, Brett and Spyro and some others.
Yeah, Brett and Spyro is just, his face is about as red as it gets now. You're about to get an angry text on the Cherokee Casino hotline from Brett.
And I'm just, I was there, and it's just like, they just won't shut up. They won't stop playing this. And it was really frustrating. Now, Oklahoma has not reached the level of A&M football or Ole Miss baseball or Kentucky basketball for me. Those are my three least favorite schools in order of sport of those three sports that I listed out. But I'm starting to really have a disliking for Oklahoma. It's going up on the charts, Phil. And again, coming into Fort Smith, coming into this job, I had no problem with Oklahoma whatsoever. I had nothing against them. But now dealing with a lot of Sooner fans, dealing with a buddy that's a Sooner fan, having to experience that on Saturday night in Bedlam, I'm starting to think that I'm starting to understand why certain Arkansas residents that border Oklahoma don't like Oklahoma football fans. It's starting to make sense now.
Yeah,
Phil.
You're on your way to white-hot hatred of Boomer Sooner. I can feel it coming from you. It's emanating from you. The hatred, the anger, it's coming. It's coming. You're more angry right now, and you're the pizza guy. You're more angry right now about the Oklahoma band than you are about the American hot dog pizza, which, by the way, you could put both of them on the same level.
Yeah,
right?
Seriously. And by the way, Phil, I did that for you. I put on our Twitter account, @HitThatLineAR, I quote tweeted the picture of the pizza that Phil was talking about. So do us a favor. If you're on Twitter, go to our Twitter @HitThatLineAR and look at this disgusting display of pie that Papa John's has put out. This is just, it's not appetizing. Like, you know how they kind of spice it, they spoof it up, they make it look better than it is. I don't know if there's any way to make that pizza look good, Phil. Look like I want to go buy it. Because sometimes I'll buy something based on the sheer fact that it looks good in the advertising campaign. And it might not be that good. They have they can't do anything to buff it up. It looks terrible.
It looks like they were able to design a pizza based on what Shrek looks like. That's what this pizza is. It's Shrek boiled down to a pizza. Nobody's ordering that. Although it did give us a pretty good radio segment. I'm proud about that. All right, it was a good show today. Back tomorrow, we'll have Clay Henry and Bill Kings. And we're going to be talking coaching search with those two, no doubt. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, Arkansas basketball, 6:30 with the pregame, 7 o'clock for the tip. Hogs and Austin Peay, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and don't eat that pizza.
Some sanctimonious troll.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV and Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months.